Welcome to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. And now your host, me, Shane Lakita. All right, good morning, folks. Here we are again. We're together on Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, and we are enjoying some Sunday morning sunshine, kind of, out here in Scarborough, Maine. Yesterday, I got back from vacation, as many of you know, and have been really sitting by patiently waiting for the next podcast to come out. We were out vacationing. I was gallivanting throughout the whole entire country, looking at places like Arizona, out in Scottsdale. We were in the Grand Canyon. We went over to the Hoover Dam, went to Las Vegas, scooted all the way over to San Diego, and did all kinds of great stuff that we were spending some great time as a family. And we did 2 full weeks as a family, and what a great time to be able to spend together, to be able to enjoy the times that we can, especially since my son is now 13, turning 14, and he's going to be hitting that age where he's going to be like, well, I don't know if I really want to spend a whole lot of time with mom and dad, or if that's not as exciting as what it once was, or those kind of things. And I know I went through those progressive movements when I was a youngster and I was a teenager and those kind of things. So for me to know that he's going to be hitting that age, I was so happy that we're able to spend some really great quality time together and just get out and about and see the world and experience it all together. And again, step away from work, step away from the podcast, step away from everything, just to be able to recharge my batteries. And I will tell you, it worked. It definitely worked. I'm recharged. I'm ready to go. Really good story before I kick off all of the meat and potatoes of this podcast here. Really good story was, after eating out every single day, just about, we had a couple days where we made some sandwiches in the hotel rooms and those kind of things, living in hotel rooms, traveling throughout, doing all kinds of stuff, making good choices and getting lots of steps and exercise during the whole entire time that I was out there. I actually got back yesterday, slept all day, tried to be able to reacclimate myself to the whole jet lag thing, and got a good night's sleep last night. Woke up this morning, put myself on the scale. I wasn't going to do it because I knew I traveled, I was flying, I did all kinds of stuff, and flying usually affects me big time. But I got on the scale, I hopped on there, and I was 2 pounds down from before I left for vacation. So great win in the grand scheme of things, of me trying to be able to go out there and make things happen. So huge win for me. Gives me another boost of confidence to know that I can do it and make sure that I make good choices and move forward and still live my life and enjoy all the things that are going on all around me. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm back off of vacation. I'm here with you on this podcast right now, as anticipatingly waiting for me to be able to just get back on there, because I talked about it before. The podcast itself is a really great way for me to be able to connect with all of you, but also for me to be able to right-size my brain, give myself a level of accountability, hold myself accountable, bring myself right to the fire to be able to say, are you doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing? Are you holding yourself accountable? And are you giving good advice to others as you would yourself? And this is a great way for me to be able to continue to push forward and just be the best version of myself. So I appreciate all of you waiting for me to get back, and I got a lot of great messages. Some people saying, oh, don't worry about it. I'm re-airing all the old videos or all the old podcasts that you were doing from back in the day, and we're able to do it while they're out there riding their motorcycles or working out or walking or those kind of things. So I appreciate all you guys for sticking in it with me and hanging in there, and we're back at it. And I'm going to go ahead and get things started right quick. And this whole podcast is going to be about being the best version of yourself, okay? So let's go ahead and get this thing going. All right, guys, so as the intro music or the middle music is fading out nice and slowly, and we are working here together towards really great things and working together towards being the best version of ourselves, I'm so glad you're hanging in there, right? You're hanging in there. The intro piece about the vacation, and now we're getting into the meat and the potatoes of what this podcast is all about, okay? All right, so this morning when I got up, I wanted to be able to be inspired. I wanted to get up, I wanted to wake up, I wanted to get myself moving in the right direction just to make sure that I keep the momentum going, to know that my batteries are recharged and I'm ready to go. And I hopped online and I was just scrolling through and I saw somebody post something that was on there. And it was a really, really unique perspective at looking at things. So basically what they were saying is that at the times that you feel most comfortable, okay, so let's just say, for instance, you are looking to become financially okay or set or wealthy or those kind of things, and your bank accounts, it's building up a little bit and you got a little bit of cash in there and you're feeling pretty good about it. Your bills are getting paid. Everything's good to go. You got some extra cash in there. Okay, and you're looking at it going, well, you know what? I got a little extra cash. I can probably go use that smoker that I've always wanted to be able to cook with, or those kind of things. Or I wanted to go get that bass fishing rod or whatever it is. And so you go spend that money knowing that you probably shouldn't. You're trying to be able to set yourself goals to where you want to be financially, this, that, and the other. And you get to a place where you feel comfortable, so you spend the money. Okay. Or for instance, here's another example. Let's say, for instance, you are feeling okay. You feel pretty good about your weight. You feel pretty good. You're feeling pretty solid with where you're at. You've gotten to almost right at the goal where you want to be, or you're close to it anyway. You feel comfortable. You feel really good in a good place of where you want to be. And then all of a sudden you hit this little mental roadblock that you get to, and you're looking at yourself going, okay, so I'm at the goal where I need to be. So what's it going to hurt if I eat that Snickers bar, or I dive into that Charleston chew, or I dive into that bowl of chocolate pudding, or whatever it is? What's it going to hurt me? I've already hit my goal. I'm good to go. What's a little bit? I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm going to be able to move forward. So then we start to really make bad decisions based on the fact that we feel comfortable. So you might have money and you might be where you're at health-wise, or you might be at this comfortable place of where you want to be. But the point to the post that the person had made is that what are you doing within your framework of your 24 hours in one day? What are you doing today to be the best version of who you need to be? Even if you're comfortable, even if you feel good, even if you're at a place where you're like, okay, well, you know, I feel really good about where I'm at. I feel really good about financially wise. I feel good about health wise. And I'm just really comfortable with it. So I'm going to sit back and relax. And they ask the simple question of, why are you sitting back and relaxing? Why are you sitting back and not continuing to drive, and not continuing to focus, and not continuing to be the best version of yourself? Why are you not continuing to hone your craft to be the best you? You know, and it really sparked a lot of interest to me. And so I started to dive into it a little bit. So let's just say, for instance, we get comfortable. We're walking down the road. We're doing the things that we have to do. We're on this journey together. We're all just trying to be able to be the best versions of us, and we feel comfortable. We feel good with where we're at. And this is usually where the problems happen when it comes to weight loss. As anybody knows, in the weight loss community, we have issues when it comes to comfort. We get to the place where we feel pretty good with everything, and then we start to slide and we start to move all the way backwards. We all know, we've all been there. Every single one of us have been at this point where we feel that comfort level. And I feel like I wrote down comfort leads to complacency. Okay? Because when we get comfortable with things, we're not challenging ourselves. We're not sharpening our swords. We're not continuing to drive. We're not continuing to move forward and be the best version of us, and continuing to push our limits, and continuing to just challenge the status quo and do all the things that are necessary for us to be successful and kill it and keep moving forward and just be awesome, right? The reason is because complacency creates this other version of laziness in our own brains. We don't mean to do it. I'd love to live my life just comfortable with where I'm at with everything. I would love it. I would love it if I had everything that I needed right at my disposal that's there. But that's not really the purpose of what we're really trying to do when we're on this earth and we're only here for a short amount of time. We're continuing to try to drive, continuing to try to push forward. Why are we here? We're trying to be the best version of us. We're trying to leave a legacy after us that people look back at us and say, that's a great person because of the following reasons. That's an awesome individual because I was inspired by them. They changed my life. Or a family member that looked up to you to say, my uncle or my brother or my dad or my grandfather was the best person I've ever known to bring humor or bring levity to situations that were difficult, or whatever the situation is. You want your legacy to be something that's huge and big and grand. And it doesn't have to be super grand, but it can be something that meant something to one person. And that one person, their life was changed based on the fact that you made the decisions that you made. That's huge. These are really big things to be able to take a look at, right? But if you're comfortable in the place that you're at right now in the life that you're living, and your complacency begins, and then you're looking over going, okay, so why am I not where I really want to be? Or if you are where you want to be, do you want more? Do you want to continue to drive? So the post that I had read was more about, what are you doing when you're comfortable? What are you doing when you're sitting back going, I feel good about where I'm at. I feel good about the situation that I'm sitting in. What are you doing right now to continue to challenge your thought process? What are you doing right now to continue to get uncomfortable and continue to drive forward and be the best version of you? When I opened earlier with the fact of it could be financial, it could be health-wise, it could be anything. When I opened earlier with the fact that you are looking to be the best version in all those different things, and if you're comfortable in those spaces and you're not looking to drive anymore, make yourself uncomfortable. It's not that difficult to do. Challenge yourself to give yourself bigger and better goals, even if you already thought that your goals that you originally set out for yourself were too big. Okay, so how many people know individuals, for when this comes to weight loss again, okay? How many people know individuals that have started their journey at like, I need to lose 125 pounds, and heard the words of, I don't know if I can do it. It's such a huge, unsurmountable task. And it's like Mount Everest, and I got to keep on pushing forward, and I got to keep on driving it, and thanks for being there for me, and all those things. How many of you have heard those words of people saying those things, and then they hit their goal? Something that they didn't think was achievable, or something that they didn't think was something that they could go and accomplish or achieve, or any of those things, they achieved it. So when they hit that Mount Everest and they get to that goal that they never thought that they could get to, the one that they doubted themselves on, the one that they questioned themselves for doing it, the one that they looked at and said, I can't do this. I don't understand why it's so hard for me. It's difficult or whatever. And they get to the goal of what they're trying to shoot for. Are your goals over then? Should they end right there? No, goals change. They need to change. They need to continue to challenge you. So if the next goal is to continue after you lost that 125 pounds, to be able to make that a longevity, a long-term effort for yourself, for you to be able to continue to move forward, how huge is that? That's your next step in your goal and the next iteration of what your goal should be. So that's the next portion of your goal or your journey that you need to lean into and be great at. Don't just live in complacency and comfort. Don't live in the fact that you lost 125 pounds. Yahoo Cocoa Puffs, give me some high fives and let's go crazy. It's not about that. What it is about is, now that I've lost that weight, now I need to make the new norm for me. What does the new norm look like for me? I need to adjust and I need to adapt and overcome whatever obstacle comes my way. Because when you get to the comfortable place, let's say, for instance, you did lose that 125 pounds and it wasn't something you thought you could do, but then you go and do it. Now you're sitting there going, well, what's it going to hurt if I eat these Oreos? Or what's it going to hurt if I walk out of that store and I buy that box of Girl Scout cookies and then I eat an entire sleeve? What's it going to hurt if I dive into this chocolate cream pie? What's it going to hurt? Because I've already lost 125 pounds. I'm proud of myself. I should be good to go, and I'm all set. Let me move forward, and I'm awesome. And then one chocolate cream pie leads to two. Or after you eat the chocolate cream pie, you go out for dinner, and then the dessert comes around and the cheesecake comes around. And so you're going against the grain of the things that you have done to be able to get you to where you need to be with the 125 pounds lost and the journey that you're on so far. These are big, huge trigger items that you can look at yourself and say, what's causing me to go back to what I was doing before I lost that weight, and rehash those easy, comfortable things, because now comfort creates complacency. And then, like I said, the next part of that whole pendulum is complacency then leads to laziness. Okay? I hate the word lazy because I don't think any of us are really lazy, but lazy is a mentality. Lazy isn't something that we choose to do. Sometimes it just happens and we just become lazy. Well, all of these little things create the laziness. The comfort is a good feeling. Trust me, I love comfort food. I love to be comfortable on a couch. I like sitting in a comfortable car when I'm driving. All these things are things that feel good to the human being, right? We all want to be comfortable. We want to be in that comfort zone of knowing that we feel good in that situation. But when we get there, a lot of times that's when we get complacent, because then we look at, oh, this couch is so comfortable. I don't want to get off the couch. I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to do what's something that is done well for me for long periods of time. I just want to lay on this couch and just be fat, dumb, and happy. I just want to watch TV and binge watch Netflix for 8 hours and do what I have to do. I just want to be comfortable in this car and then just sit back and maybe even crash out, on the side of the road or whatever it is that you're looking at for comfort-wise. Comfort is a great place to be, but the complacency piece is you take the comfort and it feels so good that you don't step away from it and continue to challenge your thought process. This is the important part. The important part is, can you pull the trigger and move forward out of that comfort zone and be able to move forward? I put in the post this morning when I wrote on Coffee Talk, I don't want people to think that I'm saying that it's got to be go time all the time. I don't want people to think, I just came off of a 2-week vacation with my family. Now, mind you, I was mindful. I ate really well. I ate good things. I was mindful of what I was putting in my mouth, and I walked a lot, and we got a lot of steps in, right? So I put some things and steps and measures that normally wouldn't have happened on a vacation in the past, but it did this time because we were mindful and we focused and we kept moving forward. Now, what I'm not saying is don't take vacations. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't relax. I'm not saying don't reward yourself the fruits of your labor, right? And have a Boston cream pie every once in a while and live your life and be able to live in the moment of doing the things that are necessary. What I am saying is just don't stay there. Don't stay in the spot of whether you reward yourself, whether you're giving yourself some awards or whatever that you are working towards, or you're doing different things that you're trying to be able to focus on you and those kind of things. But now you hit your goals and now you're in the place of rewarding yourself. You're eating some good foods or some fattening foods or some things that you normally wouldn't eat when you're out there doing the things you need to do. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, you need to snap out of that. You got to back out of that. You have to get back to whatever the basics are of the new normal for you. So if you've hit your goal and you're rewarding yourself, awesome, great job. Give yourself a high five, enjoy the moment, live life, right? All those things. We talk about it on all the podcasts. You got to be able to give something that's sustainable to live your life and be able to move forward. But you got to be able to shake it. You got to be able to move on and be able to step the other direction of what you're trying to be able to do. You've got to be able to be in a place where you can say to yourself, okay, good. Here's my new normal. My new normal is, here's what my new goal is. Here's what my new surroundings look like. Here's all the things that I have to do. And you've got to be grinding with whatever it is that you're doing. So if you hit your weight, great. What's your new goal? What do you want to be able to accomplish? Is it something you want to be financially stable moving forward? Now that you've hit the new goal, you want to buy yourself some new clothes. You want to get a new car. You want to go on vacations. You want to go show off that new body of yours or whatever it is. Now you've got new goals and you've got to grind just as much as you did when you were trying to lose the weight that you were trying to be able to lose, or whatever it is. Whatever it is that your new goal is, or the new set of things that you want to be able to accomplish, you got to grind it out. Take a look at what you do within a day and know that even if you're feeling comfortable in certain areas, you got to keep working towards the things that you want to work towards. You can't stop. If you're wired in the place where you just want to sit down and stop, that's when we talked about complacency and laziness kicks in. Because then you're like, okay, well, I feel pretty good about it, so I'm gonna take my foot off the pedal. Or I feel pretty good about it, so I'm not going to work that hard. Or I feel pretty good about it where I feel, okay, I'm all right. But you don't want to just be sitting where you're sitting. You want to be the best version of you. So you always want to work towards whatever it is that you want to work towards. So let's say, for instance, by the way, you're not only working towards it for you, you're working towards it for your family. So if it's financially, let's say, for instance, you want to be a millionaire. and you want to work towards it. But then you get pretty comfortable with where you're at and you're good to go. And the complacency kicks in, the laziness kicks in. You start spending money frivolously on some things that you probably shouldn't be spending money on. What are you doing? You're not only setting yourself up for failure on the fact that your goal is that you want to be at a certain place financially, but you're also not setting yourself up for success with your family, because your family won't be able to reap the rewards with the fact that you have this nest egg or this amount of money that you're trying to build towards that you can pass on and leave a legacy for your family and those kind of things. So all the things, they all work in conjunction with each other. So write down on a piece of paper, number one, what's your number one goal? Is it to lose weight? Great. Awesome. Do you want to lose weight? You want to be stronger? You want to be more fit? You want more muscles? You want whatever? Write it down. That's your number one goal. Okay? That's what you need to grind towards. That's what you got to work for. No days off. Now, there are break days. There are days that you could take a little bit of a temporary break or do those kind of things. But at the end of the day, there's no days off. You got to keep working at what you have to work at. Even if it's a small amount of work, it's okay. Small amounts of work lead to bigger amounts of work. And if it's a day where you're making big, huge changes in the things you're trying to be able to go towards, awesome for that too. Celebrating both of those and keep on moving, right? So your number one goal is that. So what you need to do is write down a number 2 and a number 3. What's your number 2 goal? If your number 2 goal is finances, great, write that down. If number 3 goal is vacations with the family, great, write that down. Write down all your goals, and then you need to prioritize. What's your number 1 area of focus? And don't stop working at that until the job is done. Keep on focusing on it. Keep on driving it. And it's not overnight, right? I'm not saying to drive it so hard that you're going to burn yourself out. What I am saying is prioritize your items to be in the fact of most important to me is this. That's what I've got to work on. And always be working. Always. Your 24 hours in a day shouldn't be spent being complacent and lazy. It shouldn't. Focus on you. Focus on your goals. Focus on your aspirations, your dreams, all those things. That number 1 thing that you wrote down, I'm writing down on my piece of paper right over here for me. The number 1 thing that you write down, prioritize that and be focused around that. Don't stop driving that. Don't stop being somebody that's going to be able to go for your goals, and don't let people get in the way of your goals and your aspirations. Don't let them be the hindrance. Don't let them be the obstacle. Keep focusing and fighting. If you're having a lazy day, that's okay. What can you do that's small and minute and minor to be able to go towards the big goal that you have? That's that number 1 that you wrote down. Even if it's 100 steps in a day and your goal might be, I want to get 10,000 in a day. It doesn't matter. Keep fighting and keep working. You gotta prioritize your actions. Okay? Don't be lazy and don't be complacent. I know the reason I share that is because I've gotten into that mode. And I've gotten into the mode of when I get to the comfort level, I then get into complacency, and then the laziness kicks in, and then I don't want to do anything. And then I'm like, oh, I'm a failure anyway, so why just keep moving forward? I want to be whatever version that I want to be. That's great. That's a pipe dream. I'm never going to get there. So why don't I just live in this fat, dumb, and happy place right over here versus let me be focused on what I want to accomplish, what my goals are, and where I want to be in life. Okay, so prioritize your goals. Number 1, what's your number 1 goal? Number 2, what are you doing today to work towards that goal? If you're not doing anything to work towards it, then you need to right now. Do something within the next 5 minutes to be able to drive towards that goal that you want to be able to accomplish. If it's an educational goal, pick up a book. On your break at lunch, go step aside to be able to put on some headphones or read a book or whatever it is to be able to improve on that education. Whatever your goal is, do one small thing right now or one big thing towards driving towards that goal. Maximize your day. Don't stop. Keep moving. Don't quit. Okay? Breaks are okay. Not long-term breaks. Because long-term breaks lead to longer-term breaks. And then longer-term breaks lead to total failure. And then we fall on the ground and we have to brush ourselves off. And then we got to get up and we got to keep moving forward and go, oh, what did I just do? I just failed. I just did this or whatever. These are the times when you've got to dig deep, when you're comfortable. If you're comfortable, get uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, then you've already accomplished your number 1 goal. Slide number 2 to number 1. And now you've got a new one to work towards. And focus on it and drive it and hold yourself accountable and don't stop being the best version of you. At the end of the day, out of all the goals that you have, Be the best version of you in trying to achieve those goals, okay? That's the meat and potatoes of this podcast. I'm hoping that it resonates with you as much as it did me this morning, because I feel like we get complacent, we get lazy, we get tired, we get slow, we get all those things. It's all right. It's human nature. It's what happens. Now is when we have to dig in and push forward and not let that happen anymore. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for listening to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 podcast. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms at Liquidshano 1973. And if you could do us a favor, pop on over to iTunes and show us some love and leave some feedback there for us. Talk later.